Hello, welcome back. My name's Eddie and this is the Honda ENY1. Now when you take a first glance at the ENY1, you may think that it's just an electrified version of the HR-V. However, it's clearly not. The ENY1 is built upon a new platform from Honda, the EN platform, and that is going to be the basis for all electrified vehicles coming from Honda. So we'll be able to expect more of their electric lineup on this platform. So if you like new and used car reviews and other car related content and want to see what the Honda ENY1 is like in this review, please do think about subscribing. It should be rather simple to distinguish the look between the ENY1 and the HR-V. The ENY1 features this sleek, solid grille, LED headlights with an LED daytime running light. They have these 18-inch multi-spoke diamond cut alloy wheels. Both the HR-V and this ENY1 share a coupe-like sloping roofline. Both the ENY1 and the HR-V have this sleek light bar across the rear of the tailgate. No longer do we see the Honda H badge on the rear, we have the Honda script and the ENY1 logo. But overall, the Honda ENY1, as described by Honda, has been given a smoother appearance that's like a pebble-like look. Along the side we have in this gloss black detail at the bottom a little bit of chrome work. There's a little bit of chrome work on the front and a bit on the bottom of the rear bumper. Additionally, the Honda ENY1 features its door handles in the rear pillar, giving it a three-door hatchback sort of look. With this being an electric model, press the button here and it unveils where your charging port is. We have these LED strips above the charging port here, which pulls from left to right as the vehicle's charging, and it also is used to convey messages. While charging though, it is quite useful and handy to have the Honda app where you can monitor your state of charge. Plus, it's centrally located in the nose of the car, which I find a lot easier when you're at public charging, rather than having to reach your cables round to the side of the vehicle. It's quite handy having it right on the nose. While we're on the subject of charging though, obviously it is an electric car. The ENY1 features a front-mounted electric motor which produces 201 brake horsepower and 229 foot-pound of torque. That'll push it along from 0 to 62 in 7.6 seconds and all the way to a top speed of around 100 miles an hour. Now, as for the battery pack in the Honda ENY1, it's situated just underneath the boot floor and it's a water-cooled 68.8 kilowatt hour unit. Offers a range of to 256 miles, that's the WLTP range, but in winter and colder climate it may suffer a little bit because the Honda ENY1 doesn't come with a heat pump. I do believe that you can get one as an extra, but just to bear in mind that that'll significantly reduce your range in the colder months because the ENY1 doesn't have one. Now, the maximum rapid DC charging speed is 78 kilowatts. Now, that is less than its rivals, but Honda does claim that as it nears more of a fuller charge, you won't get any drop off, it will maintain that speed, whereas other competitors in this sector seem to drop off as it nears more of a full charge. Now, there are two trim levels available in the Honda ENY1. There is the entry level Elegance, which comes in at £39,995. Then we move up to this that I have with me today, and that is the Advance. Now the Advance comes in at £42,995, and you get all the bells and whistles with the Advance, including something that I'm going to play around with later in this review, is the self-parking feature that this car has. But I'd just like to say thank you to Marshall Honda at Harrogate, who have let me take out their ENY1 demonstrator today to bring you this review and to tell you about a fantastic offer that they currently have on a finance deal with the Honda ENY1. With a deposit contribution, you could have a Honda ENY1 brand new for £259 a month. You can't even lease them for that. So check out the link below to find your local Marshall Honda dealership. They're based all over the country and they always offer fantastic customer service. So let's hop in and let's have a look at the interior of the Honda ENY1. Now the interior of the Honda ENY1 is really good. It's laid out very nicely. I always like Honda's interiors because they keep them simple. The ENY1 is really easy because you can find your perfect driving position thanks to its electrically operated seats. The only downside to that is they don't have lumbar support, and you can't even get that as an extra, which is a bit of a shame. You do sit lower down in the ENY1 compared to its competitors, but that's not a bad thing. It adds a little bit of a sporty feel to the car. The visibility is really good. We do have these B pillars, but you do get a good view around, and the rear C pillars are quite wide, but thanks to the big windows you still get a decent view. Across the range you get front and rear parking sensors, elevating to this advanced trim level, and you do get the 360 reversing camera, Honda's parking pilot system, and also the feature where it parks itself. One thing that I always like about Honda models is they still have physical buttons and dials and shortcuts for controls such as your media or your air controls. That's not the case in the ENY1 though. It has all been replaced and it is all within this central touchscreen. Now this thing is massive and it's in a portrait orientation. I think it's 15 inch, but the way that Honda have done it is actually quite clever. They have split it into three. The top is for your sat-nav, the centre is for your media, and then the bottom is specifically for your air controls. And with large icons, it's really easy to use while you're on the move. It is quite responsive, which in some other Honda systems in other cars that I've found, it can be a bit laggy and a bit cumbersome, but this one's not too bad at all, and it's really easy to adjust while you're on the move. Even though the icons on the screen are large and sharp, a little rotary dial or something like that would actually be more ideal and a bit more practical. The interior is solidly constructed with soft touch materials at main touching points, but you do find some scratchy plastics around the cabin. It does slightly fall short of an upscale finish compared to its price point. It does surpass the MG ZS EV in terms of finish and material quality, but it does fall slightly short of the more luxurious cabin that you may get in such as the Skoda Enyaq. It is large and roomy. There is plenty of leg room and headroom. Obviously you're not going to bump elbows and shoulders with the front seat passenger. In terms of storage around the front here, it's adequate. It's not as good as previous Honda models. They are quite well known for their funky little storage pockets and bins here, there and everywhere around, say, the dash and in the doors. You do get a small door bin which can house a bottle of water or a bottle of drink. We have some deep cup holders in the centre here. Now they are really deep, so if you were to get an average size takeaway coffee, it would sink right to the very bottom and you may struggle to get it out. In terms of the glove box, it's a decent size, it's full width. Small storage bin underneath the centre armrest, which I do like the armrest. It's softly covered and it's got soft leather just like the seats, and it is actually a really nice thing. We do have panoramic sunroof, wireless charging pad, we have a USB-C port as well as a USB-A and a 12-volt socket. Your drive modes are easily selectable. You've got your drive mode here with your parking brake and your brake hold. Then you've got your gear selector at the top, which is obviously physical buttons. The steering wheel is really nice. It's quite small, but I do like that. And obviously you've got your media controls on the left and then your driving assist systems on the right. flappy paddles on the rear of the steering wheel, which are for your regenerative braking levels. Small digital driver's display that feeds you all your main information, such as your range. You get your little sat nav icons on the screen here, but that looks really good. Now let's hop in the back and we'll have a look, see what it's like there practicality wise for the kids and friends. The rear leg room in the back is actually quite impressive. I've got plenty of knee room, I've got plenty of room underneath the seat to get my feet. The only downside is, especially if you're a taller passenger, I mean I'm under 6 foot and my head's nearly touching the headlining, but if you're a taller passenger you might find your head rubbing on the top. Shifting over to the middle seat passengers may actually find even less headroom because it's a slightly raised middle seat, so you're more than likely, I mean I'm catching my head even at the moment and I'm under 6 foot. We do have ISOFIX points on both outer seats, electric windows. We do have 2 USB-C charging ports so you can charge your devices, decent sized mat pockets at the back of the seats. In terms of storage back here, it is a bit lacking. There is no door bins in the doors. We do have a little cup holder actually on the door, and then in the centre armrest we do get 2 cup holders, but the only downside I found to this is it does go all the way down till it's touching the bench seat, the base of the bench, so it's on an angle. It would be nice if it stopped sort of horizontal. So let's check out the boot. You will find this large square opening that makes loading really easy. We do have 2 levels available to the floor, so you can adjust it. At the minute I've got it where it's a fully flat floor, so you don't have a load lip. The total boot capacity though depends on the trim level that you go for. With the Elegance you get 361 litres of boot space, whereas in the Advance that's reduced slightly to 344 litres of space. In comparison with some of its rivals though, the Ioniq 5 offers 537 litres of space, the Nero EV has 475 litres, and the Nissan Ariya provides 466 litres. Nevertheless though, there's still plenty of space for you shopping and a pram. If additional space is required though, with a 60-40 split rear seat, it can be folded flat to give you that extra space. Underneath this boot floor, like I said, we do have 2 levels, so you can have it set lower. You've got a nice bit of storage under here where you can put your charging cables. We have a nice cubby at the side. We have tethers on the seats here at the back, but other than that there isn't much else tethering points within the car. We do have an electric tailgate, either operated from the button or the handle underneath, but move this back a little bit. You also have the feature that if you have got your hands full with your shopping, wave your foot underneath the bumper and the boot tailgate will open for you. So we've had a good look around the inside, we've had a talk about what it looks like. The most important thing now, I think, is to take it out on the road, see what it drives like. Overall, the Hyundai ENY1 is actually quite nice to drive. Obviously you get the comfortable cabin, the suspension, even though it is a little bit on the stiff side, you do get a few little jars through your bum, but other than that it copes with them actually quite well, and that stiffer suspension means that obviously the handling of the ENY1, you don't get as much body roll and it's not as wallowy or soft like you might find with the Nero EV. The 0 to 62 time of the Honda ENY1 is 7.6 seconds, so a bit slower than its rivals, but the way Honda have done that is from 10 miles an hour upwards it builds its speed relatively well, and this is to aid in reducing travel sickness for its passengers. Joining onto slipways, dual carriageways, motorways and even zipping out of junctions through town, it picks up very well and it's perky, it's nice and manoeuvrable. You have 3 driving modes available. You have Eco, Normal and Sport. Obviously, being an electric car, using Eco mode is advised, and that's only to maximise the full amount of range that you have available, which is 256 miles, which is the WLTP figure. Put it in Sport mode, you get a little change of colour on the digital driver's display, and you find that the throttle response and obviously general pickup of the car is increased, whereas in Eco mode it is dumbed down a little slightly, a lot softer. Just like Honda's first electric car though, the Honda E, it's the same in this ENY1. It offers a really strong driving experience. The ENY1 isn't, well, it's not meant to be a sports car, is it? It's a electric family SUV, but it offers fantastic wind noise protection. It's really well insulated, so it's very, very quiet. You don't hear a lot from the electric motor, you don't hear a lot of the road noise out on the dual carriageways. That's been reduced quite nicely. You do have 3 levels of strength to your regenerative braking, even though you cannot one pedal drive in the ENY1. Even in the strongest setting, it will bring you down to about 10 or 5 miles an hour, but it will not bring you to a complete stop. Both trim levels, the Elegance and the Advance, come with Honda's sensing suite, so you know that you're going to be safe out on the road with the sensing suite on hand, such as autonomous emergency braking, your lane keeping assist, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, which is all really good to have. Now the market for small electric SUVs though is absolutely booming at the minute. The ENY1 is up against some tough competition from some rivals that may even be cheaper. Maybe cheaper, faster charging speed, clear longer range. Despite these factors, the ENY1 may not be the obvious choice, may not be the logical choice for some buyers. However though, the Honda ENY1 does present a strong case for itself, offering a 5-year warranty, really good servicing, and obviously Honda's renowned reliability and strong resale values. While it may not be the fastest charging out of its competitors, Honda have gone for more battery longevity, and overall the ENY1 is a solid option for those considering going electric but don't want to attempt the Chinese brands such as the BYD ID.4 or the Aura Funky Cat. So to conclude this review, the ENY1 to drive, it provides a good driving experience. It's comfortable and enjoyable. You know that it's safe with Honda's sensing suite, and reliable, because Honda for many, many years have been renowned for their reliability. Plus there's the infotainment system. It might be a little bit daunting to use at first, but like I've mentioned, with its large sharp icons and the way that they've split the screen, it is really easy to get used to. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my review of the Honda ENY1. Comment down below what you think to the Honda ENY1, and if it would be one that you'd shortlist to take for a test drive, because it is a good solid option and it has a lot going for it. It has been given a lot of slack from motoring journalists, but I think it's a contender within the market, and it's one that you definitely should have on your list to take for a test drive at least. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more new and used car reviews and automotive content, and I'll see you next time. See you there.